Hello everyone, and thank you for coming back to my channel. My name is Nikki Young, and today I am going to be showing you how to make flour tortillas. Now I make these all the time for me and my husband, and I am so glad to make them today and share them with you. So today I have 3 cups of all-purpose flour, and to that flour I'm going to be adding 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Here I have the Glamour Girl baking powder, and I'm going to add 2 teaspoons, and here I'm going to be adding another one there. There's my second one. And then I am going to grab my salt, and I am going to be adding 1 teaspoon of salt. And here is the measurement. I'm going to just pour it right into my measuring spoon. And into the mixture it goes. Okay, now we're going to be measuring out Crisco. I use Crisco all the time for my flour tortillas, and they turn out really great. And you can use butter, you can use oil, but today I'm going to be using Crisco. So I'm going to go ahead and measure up my Crisco shortening into my 1/3 cup measuring spoon. And what I want to do is I want to pack it down to get a precise measurement, making for sure that I have only 1/3 cup of shortening. So I'm just going to go ahead and just press down all of the air bubbles out, get a good nice measurement of shortening. Now I do have a trick that I do after I measure out the shortening, and I'll show you that in just 1 second, right after I get my shortening measured out in my measuring spoon. Okay, now that I've got my measuring spoon all measured out, I'm going to go ahead over here and I'm going to just spoon it into my flour mixture and make for sure that I get every last bit of that shortening inside my flour mixture. Get it all scraped out and into the flour. Now I'm going to come over here and I am going to grab the Crisco again, and this is my trick. 1 more tablespoon of shortening. And I find that it makes the tortillas really soft and pliable if you just add just a little bit more shortening than what the recipe calls for. Okay, now I'm going to grab my water. My water is hot. You want it hot, not too hot where you can't put your hands inside the dough. So I'm going to pour it little by little into my flour mixture, and we're going to start mixing it up with our hands. So let's go ahead and start pouring a little bit of water inside of the flour mixture. And with clean hands, I'm going to start mixing up my flour mixture. And it's going to get really sticky and tacky, and that's what you want. You do not want a dry dough, because a dry dough will make your flour tortillas dry and they will not bubble during the cooking process. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more water, and I'm just going to start squishing it all up and making a dough ball. And soon enough it will come together. Just keep on pressing that into the dough, all that shortening and the baking powder and the water. And I'm going to go ahead and just keep on doing this until I get my ball. And I'm going to go ahead and speed up the kneading process. That way you won't have to sit here and watch me do this for 10 minutes. So knead for 10 minutes and we will be right back. Okay, now that we have our dough ball, it's nice and smooth, we're going to get a glass bowl and we're going to put the dough ball inside the glass bowl. And we're going to let this dough sit for 20 minutes. And we're going to wake up that gluten. So we're going to put a wet paper towel and tuck it all around the sides to make sure it doesn't have any air in it. And we're going to just let it rest for 20 minutes. And then after 20 minutes is up, we're going to come back and we're going to start making our dough balls for our flour tortillas. Okay, here is our dough ball, and we are going to remove the paper towel from the dough ball because we're about to go ahead and start making our dough balls for our flour tortillas. Now you can make the dough balls as large or as small as you want, depending on what you're going to be using them for. So I'll grab the flour and I'm going to spread it over the surface of my workspace to make sure that the dough does not stick, because it's still kind of tacky and sticky. So make sure you use flour for your surface, but don't use too much, because if you use too much, then your dough will be dry and it will crack and be too thick. So here I am making my dough ball. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pinch it off and start rolling it in my hands until I make a disc. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're just going to just roll it into a ball, a smooth ball, and we're going to place it into a bowl. And once I get all of my dough balls done, you're going to see that I put a wet paper towel over my dough balls as well as I am rolling them out. So here it is. I've got my dough ball and I got my little glass bowl, and I'm going to start stacking them inside this bowl. So I'm going to go ahead and put the dough back in its bowl on the other side, and I'm going to start making another disc. Now this is not hard to do if it's your first time ever making flour tortillas. I found the way that I did it was I just started to try to make them, and I failed a couple of times. And I started to tweak the recipe and found that if you add just a little bit more shortening than what it calls for, and it calls for 1/3 cup, it is going to make your tortillas very soft and pliable, and it won't be dry or cracky. Okay, so now we have all of our dough balls except for one still on the counter there, and I am going to use my counter to just roll it around and make a disc because my hands are tired. And I am ready to get them rolled out and cooked, so I'm going to just go ahead and roll this last one out and put it inside my bowl and get ready to do the cooking process. Here I am about to put the paper towel back on top of the dough balls, and they will stay moist until they are ready to be rolled out. Now I'm going to show you how I cook the flour tortillas. Okay guys, so here I've got my cast iron skillet. I need it piping hot for flour tortillas. You must have your heat in your pan really, really hot so it will bubble and cook the tortillas perfectly. Here I have my tortilla warmer. I am going to open it up and place a piece of tin foil down inside the tortilla warmer. That way my tortillas, as they cook, will stay nice and warm and soft and ready to eat whenever they get done. You can also use a cheesecloth or a kitchen towel or even paper towels to wrap the tortillas in to keep them warm for you. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I am going to just dust my surface with flour. You don't want to put too much flour because remember, you don't want to dry out your dough and change the texture of it too. You don't want to do that. So I'm going to try to roll it out into a round tortillas. Sometimes I fail. Sometimes they wind up being square because I just don't have the skill to make the tortillas round just by rolling. Some people just do it and they're used to it. They've done it for so long, but I, however, have not done it. Oh gosh, in about 8 months because I've had spine surgery and I haven't been able to make my tortillas. My husband loves them, and we have fresh breakfast tacos with our tortillas. So as you see, I'm just messing with it. I'm trying to make sure that it's not going to turn out square, and I'm just taking my time. And see, if you look at it there, it's kind of weird shaping. So you're just going to have to work that out. Have patience. If you don't have patience, you're going to get frustrated, and there's just really no sense in doing that. It is fun to make these things and learn how to make them, and once you do, you're just going to get it down pat, and it's like riding a bicycle. So I'm just making sure that it's really thin, and I'm trying to shape it with my hands too, make sure it's round. You want them to be really thin because you want them to bubble when they're cooking. And I'll show you that here in a minute as we start cooking our flour tortillas. Okay, so I'm trying to finish up with this one tortilla. I'm just playing with it to see just how well I can roll it out. So now I'm switching. I'm going to switch to my tortilla press. I find it very, very convenient. I went ahead and greased the tortilla press, and I'm going to put some flour on the surface of it to make sure that the dough doesn't stick to it. Sometimes they do stick, and just peel it off and continue to roll out your dough on top of your counter space or wherever you have it. So I'm just going to continue to go ahead and spread out my flour just to make for certain that it's all well spread out. Okay, I've done one already, and I am trying to keep it round. And it looks like I am at least doing that. So here it is. I'm going to show you how round it is and how thin. You want to get it really, really thin. You don't want thick tortillas. You want them nice and thin and pliable. Okay guys, so what I'm about to do next is I am going to go ahead and take this tortilla and I'm going to peel it off of the countertop here, and I am going to hang it over my glass bowl. And as you see, I have my glass bowl there. I'm going to go ahead and pick this up real gently and hang it over my glass bowl. And I want them to sit just for a little bit longer, for about 5 minutes, at least keep them 5 minutes before you start cooking them. And here I am doing the tortilla press again, and I'm going to continue to make my tortillas and put them on the rim of the bowl to let them hang and rest until I get ready to cook them up. Now I'm going to put some flour on my rolling pin. You want to make sure that you have plenty of flour on your rolling pin, or the dough will stick to it, and then you'll wind up folding your tortilla in half. I've done that plenty of times. You live and you learn. And I'm so glad I get to make these. I haven't made them in such a long time. And it was nice to have some fresh tortillas for breakfast this morning. When we got up, we had some breakfast tacos. And they do heat up very nicely after they've been cooked once. You can heat them up on top of a skillet, and they will continue to bubble for you when you heat them back up. And now I'm almost done with this one tortilla, and just want to make sure that I do it right. I try to take as much time as I need. And there we go. We're going to hang it again. Now I'm going to do this again and keep making them, and then we're going to come back and we are going to start cooking them. Now you see how it sticks to the rolling pin? You just peel it off and keep on going. I know this video is just a little bit long, but I wanted to make sure that I show you guys that I do struggle when I do make things, and but if you keep at it and keep trying, you will perfect it, and it will come easy to you the next time that you do it. Now this tortilla wants to be, you know, a different shape than round, so I'm just kind of pressing it out with my hands. A little bit more flour. Press it just a little bit more. One more time. And there you go. Let's cook. I'm going to hang it right here and start heating up my cast iron skillet. Okay, so now we have the cast iron skillet heating up. Here's our tortillas, there's our cast iron, and I am going to get this thing really, really hot, y'all. Sometimes in the video you will see that it's smoking, it's so hot. And I just took a paper towel and wiped out the bottom of my skillet to make sure that I don't have anything sitting on the inside of the skillet that will get in my tortilla. Okay, so I'm putting the first tortilla down, and this is the first one that I rolled out, and I'm going to show you what happens if you don't roll it thin enough. Now, as you can see, it's starting to bubble up. We have this one little bubble right there, and it's starting to bubble. It looks good, but I have noticed that my pan is not hot enough, and it's not going to bubble like I wanted. So make for sure that when you get ready to cook your tortilla, that your pan or skillet or whatever you're using is really, really hot and ready for the tortilla to get inside of the skillet. So you just see here it has a little bit of bubbles in it. That's what you want, and we're going to flip it over. And it doesn't bubble anymore after that, and it's because my skillet is not hot and I didn't roll that particular tortilla out thin enough. Okay, we're going to take this out of the pan, and I'm going to show you the one that really starts to bubble. Okay, as you can see, my pan is smoking, and I am going to put down my tortilla right inside the pan. And you're going to see it's going to start bubbling up right away. And as you can see, the bubbles are starting to form. And they're going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And we're going to have a big fluffy tortilla. And this tortilla is going to be really pliable and soft when it gets done. Now this is what you want. This is a reaction that you want, and you're going to know that you've done something right if your tortilla is bubbling up like this. It takes a minute for it to cook on one side, but you don't want to leave it in there too long or it will burn. So flip it over, and it keeps the bubbles on the inside there, cooking the other side. And this is going to be a really soft tortilla. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we are going to take this tortilla out. And see the other side? Nice and fluffy. Voila! Okay, here is our cast iron skillet. Still really hot. We're waiting for the next one. Wiping it out, making sure nothing's in the bottom. And there you go. It's already starting to bubble as soon as it hits the pan. Now, my first time ever trying tortillas, they did not do this. They never bubbled. And it took me so many tries to finally get it perfected. Now this tortilla is going to have a lot of bubbles in it. And it's going to have big bubbles too. Sometimes the whole thing will flip up. But always remember, if you have bubbles in your dough, you've done something right with your dough. Okay, we're going to flip it over. A little bit too brown on one side, but that's okay. It's not burned. Now we're going to cook the last one. Here is our last tortilla, I believe, and my pan is so hot it's smoking, and I know y'all can see that. But my tortilla is starting to bubble up real nice. And it tries to fold on me when I flip it over, but that's just how pliable they are. See how it folded? But it's so nice and soft. Oh man. It was really nice eating these things. And we're done. Okay, everybody, here is our finished product. Here is our tortillas. They're nice and soft and pliable. And I am going to take one out and show you just how pliable they are. You can fold it every which way you want into a burrito or a taco. Look how soft that is. Now you can reheat these when you get ready to use them. You can put them in a Ziploc bag and they will stay fresh. And I am just so excited that these come out great. Now I'm going to take out the rest of the tortillas and just look how soft they are. I just stacked them all in. They are so soft. I'm so pleased with how these turned out. I hope everybody at least tries this recipe. Like and share with your family and friends. And I thank you so much for coming by my channel. I hope that you come by next time. And as always, like, share, subscribe, and that's it.